That is right, class. Double drops are coming back to Galaxy of Heroes on November 22nd. And with the recent changes to raid tickets and the fact that all 4 energy can now earn them, this is going to be a major game changer because normal energy is back on the menu. So there are a few things we want to cover in today's video, and the first one is going to be, for anyone who's watching this for the very first time, why this is important, or rather why this is a good deal to begin with. The goal of what we're trying to do in hoarding energy is we're trying to stockpile the energy that we could use today for November 22nd, when it will be worth double what it is. So we do this by going into each one of these 4 energies here at the top, or whichever ones you want to do, or whichever ones you can afford to do. And we're going to purchase the 50 crystal refreshes and get the number to the point where it's locked right here. And now I know what you're all thinking. This is going to stop you from naturally accruing energy over the next couple of days, but that's okay, because when we take double the amount that we hoard in this manner and then use it all on the 22nd for double the amount, we actually will have a net gain. I'll show that in a spreadsheet here in a second if you didn't already catch it. So that's the concept, is we have all these energy preloaded so that way when the day comes around, we can earn double the amount. And one of the things, and we might talk about this a little bit later in the video, but one of the things that's really crucial that is going to be different from all the other times that we've done this before is the fact that we always had issues hoarding normal energy, because what would happen is a lot of people would miss out on their guild raid tickets, and that was not only bad for their guild, but that was also bad for them. And one of the recent changes that CG has made is they allow mod and fleet energy to also count against it. So right now, with all the fleet energy that I have, if I go in here and I spend this 8 node and just get my 8 energy out, and I go back and check again to our raid tickets, you will notice that it increased by 8, meaning we can stockpile normal energy and use maybe one of the lesser energies, fleet energy, to be able to get those 600 raid tickets. Now, there are some more nuances, but we really do need our spreadsheet to explain those. So this is the spreadsheet that I was originally referring to that shows, hey, even if you are missing out on your 240, or in the case of Cantina, 120 energy that naturally accrues, the amount of energy that you will be able to use per day that will be doubled when the double drop dates come around will far outweigh what you're losing. So you're losing about 240 energy, but the fact that the 495 energy that you could use today, you will end up using later on, you're going to have a whole other 495 value because it's double. So that's kind of where all the math comes from. And when you translate this to crystal value, you get some pretty nice deals. The reason why Cantina energy is just so high when it comes to the overall crystal value is purely because Cantina costs more to refresh, both for the first time as well as, or the first 3 as well as the next 2 times after that. So Cantina is going to be the highest priority for what I believe should be every single player out there, because I don't really care where you are in the game. You either need characters or you need signal data. There really isn't anyone who fits outside of those 2 circles. Now, with that being said, normal energy is still going to be a very good energy to hoard. And part of the reason why is because the caps on these energies are a little bit different. So when it comes to the first, or rather the last 3 energies that we see here, being mod, Cantina, and fleet, the cap ends out at 1,000, whereas normal energy is going to cap all the way to 2,000. There's also more avenues to gain normal energy as the days progress, so we have a more of an opportunity to have more energy both through those 2 ways. Not only do you get more energy because you can claim it at 2 extra times for 45 energy each, so end up being 90 per day, and then on top of it, again, the cap is much higher. So overall, a lot of the value is there as well. Now, if we go back to the spreadsheet, there are some nuances that we need to address with this, and the first one is raid tickets. So while I did say at the beginning of the video, you can spend normal energy now, it does mean we are going to have to not spend one of the energies. And I'm going to really leave that to each user's discretion. I would recommend for most players, and we'll go into detail on this as well, to not use fleet energy. That is going to be probably the least relevant out of all the energies. I really don't like skimping on mods. Cantina is intensely important, and the normal energy between chiroteching new characters has a similar theme as Cantina energy. One of the things that I do want to note when it comes to doing your dailies is that a lot of people will be like, Calvin, I can't stop doing my hard node energy or my normal energy because I will miss hard nodes as well, and that will affect my overall dailies. One of the things that I wanted to point out that a lot of people really might not be aware of because it's not really laid out anywhere, some of the mod battles, particularly these ones right here that give all of these slicing materials, these are coded in game as hard nodes. So even if you're hoarding all of your normal energy or maybe doing 3 sims a day on something just to be able to get your daily out of the way, you can use this for hard nodes as well. So there is, again, some more flexibility that we have overall. Now, going back to the spreadsheet, we kind of have covered why you should be hoarding, because ultimately it's going to be worth more value in the long run, even to take the small hit now just to do it later. How you should actually be doing it practically is another question, and that's what the second part of the spreadsheet is for. So now, what you're looking at right now are 2 different ways of hoarding. The top layer, the top series of numbers here, is if you don't really care about dailies and you're just wanting to maximize the most amount of energy. I personally don't prefer this because you lose crystals when you don't do your dailies, but I want to leave it out there as an option. The bottom half of this is going to help you not only hoard, but at the same time have a little bit of excess in energy to be able to hit your dailies every single day and not miss out on those crystals. You'll also notice that in this exact example, we will be leaving out fleet. I realize that fleet energy is important for most people, whether it be gear 12 salvage, a character you need to farm, or even relic materials. But for me, out of the 4, it's probably going to be the least useful overall. We will talk about another method once we get past these, but I don't really want to overwhelm anyone. So the whole point of these numbers and the dates here is to say, at the end of the day, whenever it is that you go to bed, these are the energy thresholds that your energy needs to be at. So if you're going with the method of not really caring about your dailies, you need to end today, assuming you're watching this the day it comes out, the 18th, with 634 energy, all banked and ready to go, not accruing or not accumulating anymore. The next day when you wake up, what you are going to do is you are going to buy 3 more 50 crystal refreshes, totaling 360. You are going to claim all your bonus energy, and that will get you to this 1,129 number. You repeat this process 2 more times until you have exactly 2,119, which is the most you can get from hoarding normal energy, remembering that normal energy does have a limit of 2,000. This is why you couldn't start hoarding before this, and really why this video is coming out today rather than yesterday, because it's the most important today. Now, if we follow the exact same idea for the other 3 energies, you will only need to start tomorrow, aka the 19th. This will allow you to get the maximum amount again around the 1,000 marker for them. Again, assuming you don't really care about dailies. Now, if you do care about dailies, there is a way to finesse this so you can not only hoard, but also hit those. One of the things that your dailies want you to do every single day is they want you to do a certain amount of light side, dark side nodes. They want you to do a certain amount of hard nodes. They want you to do a certain amount of mod energy and a certain amount of cantina energy. Well, if we factor in what the bare minimums are for each of those categories, this is roughly the calculation that we come up with. Now, what we have to do is we have to bank essentially 36 energy for every single day that we're hoarding, because we can use that 36 energy to complete the dailies. Now, again, this is assuming you're not doing any hard node farming. This is like the easiest scale, using something for, I don't know, like carbonite circuit boards or something like that. Whatever it is that you can easily do. We'll actually show a practical application of that just so we don't confuse people here. Basically, what we're saying is you hold that extra 36 energy so that you can come in here, do it up to the 36 so you don't miss out on your dailies. And the concept for that is going to be true among all of the different energy types. You notice we do not have anything here for fleet because I kind of deemed it the least valuable energy overall. And then for modding, the concept is going to be the same as it was before. But all you really need to know is if you can end each day with these energy thresholds, you will have just enough energy to be able to get your dailies for that day, and then you can make it to the final day with a ton hoarded and get a bunch of whatever you need. Now, I will include one final example of this in here because it's going to be very different for me in particular. I am actually very awkwardly enough not going to be hoarding normal energy, specifically because I right now am farming multiple characters and refreshing those nodes multiple times, mainly being the Dead Brothers, or whatever we are calling the Imperial Remnant zombie things right now. And the reason why I am not going to be hoarding normal energy is because I do not have the capability to catch up on these shards later unless I'm going to go through a very expensive means, aka buying shipments. One of the things that you can do if you are hoarding or if you are farming some random important character, let's say Krex. Let's say you're currently farming Krex through a hard node and you're like, oh, should I hoard if I'm going to miss out on my 5 attempts on him? You really might be able to rationalize not farming Krex those couple of days and hoarding your energy, because what you can do is when you get to the other side of it, you can not only farm him as normal, but once you run out of your 5 attempts, you can go back and purchase for 25 crystals another 5 attempts at a double rate, meaning that you can actually catch up on those shards. And 25 crystals might seem like a lot over those couple of days, but when we go back and look at the number of crystals we're gaining per day, it's really not that much at all. So basically what I'm getting at is just because you have hard node farms doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't be hoarding normal energy, because you can make it back by refreshing those nodes later on, getting double the amount of shards. The reason why this doesn't work for Calvin, the reason why it doesn't work for me, is because I am already refreshing Enoch as well as Death Trooper Peridia 2 times, meaning that the next refresh cost after that is going to be 100 crystals, and I really can't justify that. That eats into my gains way too much, so I'm just going to forfeit it entirely and farm them in the meantime. The other reason why I think my not hoarding normal energy is justified is because there is a time crunch on those characters to be done. I want to get them as soon as possible, because the sooner I get them, the more of their specific assault battle I can be involved in, the more rewards I can get in the long run. So this is not going to apply to everyone. I think the majority of people should be aiming for this one right here. But if you are in the exact position that I'm kind of in, where you are already refreshing multiple characters to get there faster, and you have a good reason to get there faster, like the assault battle, then you can go ahead and forego normal energy. But for the most part, you don't need to, because you can still get your dailies by hoarding a very extra small amount. You can get your hard nodes through this energy, and then you won't miss raid tickets at all, because fleet and mod energy both now count against them too. So that is going to be the video. I realize it was a little more complicated this time around, but it's complicated for good reasons. We have more flexibility, we have more options. So as always, happy hoarding and stay awesome.